Aniya said, sit your ass down, Casey. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Lexi. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'll be recapping Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 25. So we're going to get to movie night shortly, but I just wanted to talk about the things that happened earlier in the episode for just a little bit. We'll start with Miss I need to explore every guy in the villa by kissing and making out with them. Kenzie, of course. Listen, I've been on the get Kenzie out of the villa train for a while, okay? But her time hasn't come yet, and that's fine because she provides a lot of entertainment. And hey, even though I'm no Kenzie fan, I'm okay with her being there still. I don't want to bash Kenzie in the sense of her exploring because that's the whole point of the show. So I'm not bashing her for exploring. It is just the way she goes about it. Like, Kenzie is sneaky. She did this when she was in that love triangle with Corbin and Caleb, and she kept sneaking behind Caleb's back and making out with Corbin. And now she's doing the same thing again. She's in the triangle with two other guys, of course. And she's kind of repeating the same behavior. It's like she was upfront that she wanted to have a conversation and explore Gal. However, why do you need to kiss him, Kenzie? And that's what I can't understand with the whole Love Island thing. It's like, since when do you need to kiss someone to know if there's chemistry or to know if there's a connection? Kenzie was very mad at the fact that the guys had possibly called her lustful. She claimed that she's not lustful. So why do you need to kiss to know if you have a connection with someone, Kenzie? That's a little bit lustful. Why do you need to have 10 guys chasing after you? That is a little bit lustful. It's like, why do you need to be physical with these guys, touchy-feely kissing, to know if there is a spark there? That is lustful. I'm sorry. Even though I don't feel bad for Dylan and all his boo-hoo crying, I don't feel bad for him. I don't care.
I don't think I was expecting that.
But what Kenzie did was completely unnecessary. Like, she had no reason to kiss Gal. Also, Gal is in a couple with her best friend in the villa, which is Jen. So there was no reason for her to kiss him. She is just extremely sneaky, and then she acts like she's unaware of what she's doing, and I don't like that. So she kissed Gal and then goes back to Dylan. She did admit to the kiss. However, she was still lying because she told Dylan that no, he leaned over. Kenzie, you absolutely initiated that kiss. I don't know what she's talking about. And then Jen tells her straight up, listen, if we were not in the villa, you would not be my friend. I wouldn't trust you. And hey, girl, I'm going to give you your 10s for that because Kenzie needed to hear that she's not a good friend. And then she wanted to act like she was so sad and she's such a good person and she was hurt by that. And it's like, girl, Jen was spot on. And I hope when Jen comes out of the villa, she keeps the same energy, because there's no point to say that and then you're going to be like under her ass. Like, no, keep the same energy, Jen. So I'll give you your 10s for that. So on to movie night, and listen, the drama was drama in, okay? This was absolute cinema. And actually, this was movie night part 1 because it was so much going on that we're going to get part 2 in the next episode. So I'm curious to see that as well. But for tonight, we got the main thing that I wanted to see, which was the whole Sincere and Melanie, as well as Aniya and KC. Now, let's start with Aniya and KC, okay? Because I am so glad all his shit talking has come to the forefront. Because he kept acting like he didn't do anything wrong, and I don't know why the girls are so mad at me, blah, blah, blah. But it is what they saw in the heart rate challenge, coupled up with you bringing another girl back and not showing any care for Aniya. And now they're seeing all this BS that you were saying in Casa about Aniya. Calling her grandma, saying you have nothing in common. Like, all these things you have to say about Aniya behind her back. And you were not saying those things in person. I'm not saying Aniya is perfect. Like, by no means, she has her faults. But I never heard her speak down on KC in the way that, oh, like, he's not this, he's not that. And KC said a lot of things that came off like he did not like Aniya at all. Or like he was holding some type of resentment. The things he said about Aniya sounded like they were beefing when they really weren't. So they clocked him and they knocked that ridiculous smile off his face. They told him to sit down, rise down, and Aniya put that man to sit down, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I am no Casey fan, okay? I am not here for Casey at all. But I have to say, the girls, the OG girls, Trinity, Kayda, they did too much this episode. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still rocking with them in the sense that, yeah, I like them and I want them to be in the top 4 and all of that, but they did entirely too much in this episode. It was a lot to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy they're defending Aniya. And to some extent, they're also defending themselves too, because Casey was getting a bit riled up at them too. But it really came off as too much. I couldn't hear anything that Casey was trying to say. We were barely hearing Aniya at one point. Like, everyone was just screaming over each other. It really got out of hand. Like, Carl was in the corner, like, putting the pillow over his face. Carl was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? He also could just be laughing under that pillow. Who knows? I don't know. But it was a bit much. It got really heavy, and I don't really like that. Like, I don't mind the drama in reality TV in a sense, but when it gets to that extent where no one can get a word in and it's just like insults being thrown left and right, it's really hard to watch. So Trinity asked Casey a very valid question, is like, why didn't you say these things to Aniya? It's like you had this feeling that she was being a grandma and she wasn't being touchy-feely with you. You had those feelings before and you were saying it to your boys, but you never really said that to her. But then when you went to Casa, you just let everything out. You let your whole out. It was like your coming to America moment, just throwing it here and there, kissing everybody. And it's like, you didn't have this energy before. And and that question is kind of what triggered everything out of control. So it was a good question, but then the way they were answering it, and I think that's why things keep getting out of hand, is the way KC answers the questions. So you should have just been chill and said, you know what, you're right. Maybe I wasn't fully upfront with Aniya, and I'm very sorry. You know, just being more apologetic, taking more accountability instead of kind of trying to deflect. Because even Corbin, we know that Corbin doesn't like any of those girls either, especially Aniya and Trinity. I'm not going to say why. But he jumped in talking about, like, how was he, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, how was he being disrespectful, or how was he, and they're just like, stop playing dumb. And that's when I heard Melanie chip in, Kayda, like, everyone is chipping in at that point, because now you're trying to gaslight us. We all watched the video, we see all these things, and he's going to say, but how was blah blah blah. It's obvious. And that's why it kind of got out of hand. And I understand why the girls were frustrated, even though it was a lot. And I think too much this time around, especially after the fire pits. But when you're saying something that makes sense and someone is literally acting like they just can't understand, that can get very frustrating. So I can see why it really blew up the way it did. And then it happened. Casey stood up. Casey stood up. And I don't know why he did that, because in no setting, in no context, if there's a disagreement, you standing up as a man, that is never going to look good. That is never going to come off well. I don't care if he felt like they were over talking him and he couldn't express himself. You don't need to stand up, because that is going to be taken like, hey, you're trying to possibly attack us. You're trying to exert dominance. Like, whatever it is, that was just not a good choice. And I wish in that moment, one of the guys, maybe Corbin, because they seem to be the closest these days, had kind of held him back and say, no, don't stand up, Casey. Just chill, just sit down, instead of allowing it to escalate. Aniya now getting worked up because I think Aniya saw that as hugely disrespectful. And she was like, you're not going to exert any dominance over me. You stood up, I'm standing up too. And she stood 10 toes down, okay? And Aniya is tall. I think Aniya and Casey are the same height as well. So when she stood up too, she's like, you're not going to little girl me. And she ended up little boying him. Now, Aniya, Aniya, you did not need to walk over there to that man. Like, I've got to call a spade a spade. You did not need to walk over to the other sofa. You could have stood up, did what you had to do, and, you know, like put him in his place or whatever. But you walking over to that sofa, girl, I can't defend you there. But yeah, she pretty much walked over there and, you know, she babied him. She said, rise down. And I'm like, hey, okay. And it was a lot. It was a lot. TT popped in there at a few points, but it's like, TT, after what happened at the fire pit, just stay out of it. It's just a mess. It's like the more people that comes into this argument, it just gets worse and worse. But yeah, that was a lot. And I think that's it for these two. Like they already said they weren't going to continue exploring. But I think, like, in general, like with anything and everything, like that's just it. I don't think there is any friendship, any being cordial. I mean, I can't see it. Maybe when things calm down and emotions aren't as high, but based on this episode, I don't really see it happening. I think Casey has lost a lot of respect, if not all respect for Aniya, and I think, you know, vice versa. So, and in this scene, Kayda also found out that Zach didn't really choose her wholeheartedly because Allanah had left. And I love how Kayda was kind of just like processing in the background. Like while everyone was like, Kayda was just in the middle, like putting two and two together. Kayda is so funny. Like, listen, Kayda is King Kayda for a reason, okay? Yeah, she was expressing what she was saying to Zach, and everyone was kind of like, he wasn't gonna pick her. No, he wasn't gonna pick her. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. However, he still did not mention that information. If anything, he lied because he had said if he wanted to bring her back, he could. And no, Zach, you actually couldn't. You know, and I just don't get why he couldn't have said. I know producers are probably kind of like choosy with mentioning when someone gets kicked off. They always just say, hey, they've been removed from the villa, 2 seconds, and they moved on. They don't talk about it. So maybe they didn't really want it to be a big thing when Zach returned to say this girl was kicked out of the villa. But he could have just said to Kayda, hey, she was removed for whatever reason. We're not sure. But I still would have chosen you. Like, he didn't need to let her find out that way. And I wish Kayda would like stay mad at him more. That's my only beef with Kayda. It's like Zach, she lets Zach get away with a lot of little things here and there. And I wish she would just explore Caleb. Explore someone else, girl. Like, get off of that Zach train, please. We're trying to vote him off, but we don't want you voted off. So please, like, get off the train so we can save you. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. Like, that's how I'm feeling about Kayda right now. But yes, on to Melanie and Sincere. And I felt really bad for Melanie here. Like, she was just crying. You can see that all the energy has been sucked out of her. Like, in the beginning, she was heated, she was arguing, she was cursing down. And now she's just at a point where she doesn't even have the energy anymore. She's literally just so sad. And I felt bad for her. I hope now that she's really seen everything, because she had a lot of information before, but she didn't have everything. And Melanie, please, now that you have everything, move on. Caleb is right there. Caleb is right there. Gal is looking for somebody as well, even though I don't like Gal. But there's Gal. There is... Who else is single? Well, I said single. Caleb is not single, but he's pretty much single because Jaden Dunn said she's not interested in him. So Caleb is right there. Melanie, please. I need either Melanie or Kayda to go get Caleb. Because honestly, I feel like those girls are well liked. Kayda and Melanie are well liked. And I think if any of them leaves their BS man and gets with Caleb, they could actually give Trinity a run for their money and win this thing, like, honestly. So I wish one of those girls would really wake up and explore Caleb, please. And Sincere was just there saying what he usually says. I'm sorry. He's using all these metaphors and just giving all these analogies, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, at this point, like, just be quiet. Melanie didn't blow up on him in this episode, but there's more to come because we saw a quick preview and we're going to see him with Amora in another clip. So we got Soul, But we're going to get Amora too, and I think that is going to send Melanie over the edge. So I mean, I feel bad for her. I'm not looking forward to seeing her explode, and but it's coming in the next episode, so we'll see how that goes. But yes, let me know what you thought about this episode, whether you agree, disagree. Please put it in the comments. Bye.